Hey Sagittarius, I'm Lucy Ravenstone. Welcome to my channel. Okay guys, I'm going to do the reading for you for August. I'm using the Fairy Forest by Lucy Cavendish as the top 3 cards, and the main deck will be the Energy Oracle. That one. Oh, interesting. I just read that one for myself. And that one. Liking that one. Sagittarius, that's very cool. Very mysterious. And your cards are coming out very, very simply, I suppose. They're calling to me. Okay, let's see what's in store for you, Sagittarius. So firstly we have the King of the Darkwood Elves, right? I just read this for myself, so the meaning for this card specifically, he is all about authority and kind of serious in a very constructive kind of way. He guides you to really be the strength and do the hard work. It's time to get serious about your life now, kind of stop procrastinating, stop messing around, and do the hard work that you're being called to do in areas of your life. Now, I also see this card, when I've been reading it for other signs during this time, he really calls out to me to kind of sort of, I feel like as well, it's like you're in a very serious energy, but also I feel like he kind of brings forward this like kind of be integral, go forward with integrity and do what you need to do for yourself, and it's kind of like more just kind of blocking out the opinions of others kind of vibe. I get this sense here with him for you, Sagittarius. Also, he can indicate about allowing a kind of strong masculine energy to either overcome you and kind of hold that kind of strength. We all carry both feminine and masculinity within us. Sometimes we need to kind of use these to our benefits, working with the energies of astrology, and to me it feels like that needs to be a dominant right now. He is coming up for so many signs at the moment. This is kind of the energy we're working with. Mars is going in retrograde towards the end of the year, and I do see Mars as a very masculine energy. It does represent the masculine kind of side of things, opposed to Venus being more feminine. So I kind of feel like this is energy we're working towards, of just being more constructive, and putting in the hard work, and kind of in some ways being kind of ruthless as well. Not saying that being ruthless is masculine as such, but it does hold that dominant kind of energy that I feel with masculinity. But also this can be to lean on as well. If you feel like I would say in terms of relationship, if you feel like you're ready and you're attracted to males, it's kind of like allowing a man to come in and take on that more serious role of taking on some of the hard work that you perhaps take on all by yourself. I get this sense, and I'm going to read on that in the center column, this come to me as I was putting these cards out. So that's why this is where it's leading me in this direction of the meaning of this card. Because it gets this sense of you being kind of independent for quite some time, and so it's like you have your ways, so inviting somebody else into that can either be daunting, or you kind of get this sense of like it might ruin what you have now. You built something for yourself, so as much as you might want to invite someone else into it, that is daunting. And I feel like this is sort of saying like now is the time to start being open towards allowing that energy into your circle, and just expand and grow your little unit that you've created. The Thinking Woman. Interesting. She gives me kind of independent feminine energy. I do feel like this is specifically giving me vibes towards a female viewer here with what I'm channeling right now. But obviously take on it in your way. The Thinking Woman to me, it's kind of, again, she has this independence. She's intelligent, she's wise, she doesn't need anybody else to kind of think for her like that. She has got to that place where she is no longer codependent on others or reliable on others. She has a brain, she is wise, she's knowledgeable. If she needs to know something, she will discover it. She doesn't need anybody else. However, being stuck in that energy can really be closed off and really lonely. I kind of get it. I kind of feel like now is time to use that wisdom to benefit yourself and not to limit yourself, is what I want to say. We have a butterfly in this imagery, which to me is going towards great things, and having that possibility of new beginnings. I do feel like where you are now, things have flourished from you becoming this independent woman. Again, I don't put genders on cards but as such, but with this deck, with the energy cards, it very is gender orientated. So if you are male watching this and this applies to you, I would kind of feel like, to me, this would indicate that you may have been dependent on a woman during this time, and things have really flourished with this. However, it's now time to move on from that energy in order to better yourself towards new beginnings. It's that same kind of feel here of new beginnings rising, and it's using all that you have got up to this point, really. This is what I mean with the King of Daffodils. He is all about doing the hard work now. It's putting what you know, what you've gained, to a constructive kind of area of your life. Attachment in reverse. Okay, so I feel like you have been really well on letting go. This is, in reverse, this is kind of a positive card to get, because it's saying, well done. You've put in the work. You've been releasing your bad habits, been letting go of things, which is kind of probably what got you to this independent state. You've learned what you need to go to grow, what you need to do to grow and move forward. And it's kind of saying, like, well done. Interestingly though, there is deceit straight after this, which deceit is kind of sort of saying, that this can indicate, bad habits and things like that. I feel like, to me, it's actually coming through as a phobia. I feel like by letting somebody else in, I feel like you're just really concerned that all of your good work of letting go will go to, like, kind of, like, repeating old habits. Another thing is, we don't grow to avoid experiencing things ever again. Like, just because you have overcome things, you have let go of bad people, you do that to make room for others, for new, for something better and greater, right? So I kind of feel like this in here is indicating that there's still hurdles for you to overcome, to feel open and receptive to inviting others in. I do feel like you've been burnt, and even in this process of you healing, you may have, dipped your toe into that pool and then felt like you got burnt again. So again, hiding away and kind of shutting yourself off. And I feel like it is you keeping the good stuff to yourself. In this sense, I just feel like you feel like I'm the only person who can provide greatness for myself, so I'm not going to let anyone else in. Now, it's not like being with other people is not about what they can bring to the table and give you. It's about experiencing life with somebody. When both people come into a relationship from this point of view of feeling like they're ready to share themselves with somebody, because that's what it is. I feel like the biggest picture of really being in relationships, and we forget this, and we've got stuck in this societal way of being in relationships, feeling like one person's doing more for the other, but it's more about enjoying and experiencing life together. There will be highs and lows, and perhaps sometimes one person may have to carry, but if you are coming from a healed space, we're continuously healing, obviously, so there's always going to be these lows throughout the cycles of our life. But if we're with somebody and we've let somebody else in to share this journey, you're in a place to realize that they're not supposed to be your everything, and you're not supposed to be their everything. You're supposed to come together and experience life together. You may have your own interests and hobbies, and they should have theirs, and that's where you're coming from, a place of healing. I get that this is daunting, and I understand, I get this sense of you just being like, yeah, but what if I don't meet that person? But you're attracting what you, you're attracting your own manifestations of the way your life is. If that's what you want, make sure you understand that for yourself, and just be open to meeting that person, because you are not going to meet that person if you just closed off from the idea. So this is where this relationship side of the reading really comes in full for me, for you, Sagittarius, and it is giving me a lot of relationship vibes, this reading for you for August. So I get this sense that you are in this mind frame, and I feel like it is a to and fro on whether this is what you want, or whether you're, and again, this fear and doubt within yourself. We have oath, and oath is, it's time to make a commitment, really. Promise, pledge, contract. So this is a great time. When this card comes up, it is a great time to be signing contracts, but I do feel like In the reverse position for you, I feel like taking your time. Don't jump into anything. If you are thinking, I want to start dating. But when you, like, I feel like we don't know how to date much anymore, a lot of us. And so when you start dating and start going out there, if you're going in with this intention of just meeting the love of your life, you're going to hit a lot of no's and roadblocks. But if you're going in somewhere just to get to know people, because at the end of the day, we meet people, we have friends, and we vibe, and then after a few months, that person's perhaps not what you're looking for. That's not a bad thing. You've got to know somebody. You may have even gained a friend in the process, right? And I feel like this is what that's saying. It's be ready to commit, but more commit loosely. Enjoy yourself. Walking away in reverse. So it's now time to stop letting go is what this says to me. I feel like, again, you have been very great at letting things go, of kind of releasing energy that no longer serves you. But now is the time to start accepting the energy that does serve you, that is going to better who you are and the life that you have. And I definitely get this sense of, by doing that, by kind of letting people in, you will start reaping the rewards that brings. And I just get this sense of kind of, I want to say family times, but it just feels like contentment, which is I feel like that's needed for you during this time. Contentment. I feel like that's what you're craving. It's not about fairy tales and happiness, because again, we create our own happiness. We can choose to be happy in a moment. But contentedness, to me, as much as a lot of us I'm content and it's boring, that's where you need to be, in my opinion, in life, in order for you to truly be free to do to explore areas of your life that you want. If you get lost in happiness, it creates those blockages. And that sounds really weird to say, because it's kind of like we're all craving, we're all longing for this happiness. But happiness comes with being comfortable in your situation, being comfortable with who you are, and just being your authentic self to make choices for yourself. And that is being independent. You can be independent while being in a relationship, by having a family. It's more about really creating the life that suits you and your aspirations and your desires. And I think this is the balance that you are seeking during this time. And that's when I say seeking contentment, that is what I mean by that. I feel like we all are aspiring and craving this happiness, and by chasing this happiness, we feel kind of unhappy. We feel as though it's not a possibility, but happiness is not something you can catch in a net and experience for the rest of your life. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Envy in reverse. So again, I feel like this is saying it's not a time for you to be looking at things kind of from the outside looking in. If that makes sense. It's kind of, this gives me this energy of, again, longing and wanting something that you don't have. And I don't feel like the envy is coming from an external force here. I feel like it's within yourself. I feel like there is something that you really crave within your life. And I do, again, it feels like internal struggles of whether or not that would be better, and it's kind of hindering yourself in this way. And this is kind of stagnant energy, because you're holding yourself back. You're closing off a part of yourself because right now that might not fit in. And I'm not saying, look, go out there, put yourself out there, go out of your comfort zones. I'm saying this is a process, and it feels like just switching the way that you feel about relationships, the feel about other people. It just feels like this is more beneficial for you to create these loving relationships. Caring relationships, Caring relationships, to me, indicates that you are open to inviting these relationships in. I feel like it's a good sign that you are you have the capability to really connect with people right now during this time. I feel like Leo season is that time for connections. It is the time where we're in this zone of new beginnings. Here in the southern hemisphere, it's beginning to warm up. Things are beginning to brighten. And in Australia in general, from my time of living in here, as it begins to be August and September, and as it gets warmer, it really just kind of lights this fire within you, because we have like 3 months of freezing cold weather. We're like, we had enough, we all hibernate, and I feel like things are coming up. So now we are budding in the spring. It's giving me this spring vibes. If you look at the imagery, it just really does feel spring, flourishing. She is smelling the roses, and she has someone supporting her behind her. Now this to me indicates a loving, caring relationship. I feel like this is a very real possibility for you, but it does again feel like new beginnings. It doesn't feel as though, you know, you're just going to jump into a relationship here. It just feels as though this really is the blossoming of something new. And it can be friendships as well, not just relationships. You could always be in a relationship. It could be that things are starting to blossom in areas of all your relationships, the ones you're in, the ones that you are about to bring in, but I do get this sense of you starting to feel as though you are ready for this, but there are those hindering thoughts. Otherworld, veil, illness, and transition. So this is the subject of you going through your transitions. We are all going through so many transitions this year, like it's a roller coaster. So I feel you, Sagittarius, I really do. Look at her imagery. She feels sad and she feels morbid. She's kind of dressed as though she's going to a funeral. And I just feel like this is the sadness that so many of us have felt this in the last few years. It's just like our whole world's got turned upside down, roller coasters back and forth for many reasons. And I feel like this is universal. And this helps because you're not going through this alone. So many people are. And it's kind of really sad too. I feel that sadness myself because it's just like, why are we all going through this sadness? So I feel that, and this is what it's giving me. It just feels like this grief that you're carrying with you. Now I want you to release that. Next card with this is the storm warning in reverse, right? It's not upright, so you're not getting this storm warning. This to me, when we have storm warning in reverse, it's kind of like you've been through your battles, the hard times have done. And I do feel like this is literally right now in this moment, there is this kind of, again with the Lion Gate opening, it is like a portal onto the other side of this kind of hardships, right? In 2025, I feel like that's the time when things will start evening out in the more positive balance. But at the moment, we're on that anchorage where we're coming to the second side of the seesaw. If you imagine there is this seesaw, I feel like we've been like this since before 2020. I do feel like it was probably a good few months before 2020 started. It started to slowly, we started to climb. And now I feel like we are center, we're at the head, we're in this balance zone. And this doesn't mean that we are balanced and things are coming into, but it's more, we're onto the other side where we're tilting. We want to get to the other side of this seesaw. To me, that is 2025 with astrology and the way things are going all up in there. I won't start jumping into anything because I'm very loosely knowledgeable in those areas at the moment. With my hectic life at the moment, I'm not all on top of the game with all that sort of stuff at the moment. Slowly coming back. So bear with me with that when I'm loosely giving these kind of astrology insights because I am not on top of my game there. To me, so this card is that your hardest times are behind you during this cycle. So what is ahead of you, you might have a few rust scenes, a few bumpiness, but you have this solidness. You have this temple that you're building, and you are building something monumental for yourself during this time, right? So, but that comes with that heaviness you feel of what's being carried with you. So be kind with that. Now what will help is socializing. I feel like Sagittarius all the way through this, I've seen like being open to socializing. I definitely feel like there's this time of coming together with your community. This card is a great card to indicate that there will be social events coming up. Again, warmer weather here in the southern hemisphere, but also in the northern hemisphere, you're in summer. This is great times for socializing. People start to really embrace that side of themselves during this time of year. Getting out there, and this is what it's telling me for you, Sagittarius. This is a great thing to get you away from that sad energy and towards that balance, towards that other side. Third chakra, Archangel Chamuel. Interesting. So this is a great time to trust your instincts. I do feel like you are fully on the ball here. Like I said in the beginning, you've done the work. You've been doing great work for yourself, and this is amazing, Sagittarius. This is what I want to see in a reading. That is movement. You're not stuck. You have these little stagnant areas, but because this is the growth that you're creating for yourself. So hold that hope and that faith. Have faith moving forward. Archangel Chamuel is here saying, you know, trust in your gut, trust your instincts, because we are guiding you during this time. To me, your third chakra is all about the connection to the universe and kind of a great source of light that guides you well in all areas of your life. It's in an upright position, so I feel like you really can trust in yourself and trust what that means for you. So yeah, I'm kind of really looking forward to see what's in store for September for you, Sagittarius, because this really does feel like great movement and good times for coming this summer. I'm getting the sense of it opening you up to kind of really great ways and great avenues to express yourself in new ways as well. So I hope that makes sense for you, Sagittarius. Please comment below if you have any questions or any comments, and I'll see you next month. Thank you so much, guys.